So now I'd like to introduce you to our next speaker. It is Ambassador Eleni Kounalakis. Ambassador Kounalakis is Lieutenant Governor of the state of California, and she is the first woman to be elected as the state's Lieutenant Governor. She is a former U.S. Ambassador to Hungary. She also spoke at the California-Japan Governors Symposium that USJC and the Silicon Valley Japan platform recently held at Stanford University. Ladies and gentlemen, our Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Kounalakis.
Thank you, David, so much for that kind introduction. It is a great pleasure for me to be here with you today to participate in the U.S.-Japan Council's 10th annual conference. Thank you, Irene, for inviting me to be part of this very important milestone. It's always great to be able to participate in the council's activities, and I was delighted to be last August at Stanford University, where we welcomed a number of Japanese governors to Silicon Valley, and I'm now very glad to be able to be with you here in Los Angeles, America's second largest city and one of the world's most diverse, dynamic, creative, and leading-edge urban centers in the world. All of California, and especially places like Los Angeles, Hollywood, and all the communities that make up this great region, is an ecosystem where thinkers, inventors, creators, artists, doers, and investors exist side by side. It is a place where dreams are imagined and then brought to life, and where nothing is impossible. The people you will find and interact with in this amazing city are among the brightest and most forward-thinking our nation has to offer. And I think that it is very apt that the theme of your conference here in Los Angeles is bold ideas, bolder leadership, the next stage of U.S.-Japan relations. And I think this is a good theme for two reasons. First, this is a place where you will truly find both bold ideas and bold leaders. And second, this is a state and a city where relations between the United States and Japan have always been nurtured and thrived, and where I think the bonds of friendship and cooperation between our two countries are most wonderfully demonstrated. There are many good reasons why the next stage in our enduring relationship should be launched from here. To begin with, in California, we are extremely proud of and grateful for our close relations with Japan. With our magnificent location on the Pacific Rim, Californians have always looked west to the Far East in our commercial and our business dealings. Japan and California were destined to become close partners, and close partners indeed we have become. California is the #1 state in the U.S. in terms of exports to Japan. Last year, 17% of all U.S. exports to Japan, $13 billion in goods, came from California. And we import more goods from Japan than any other state in our union. Last year, 20% of all Japanese exports to the U.S. were to California. That's $33.5 billion in Japanese products sold here in our state, making Japan the third largest source of imports into California, trailing only Mexico and China. Japanese investment in California's economy, FDI, has accounted for 8% of all foreign direct investment in our state over the past 10 years. And Japan is the #1 country for foreign direct investment through foreign-owned enterprises in Southern California. These investments translated to 85,000 jobs in more than 2,500 firms, generating wages in excess of $5.3 billion. And I think we'll be hearing more about this on the upcoming panel discussion that's going to follow here in a few minutes. We host the North American headquarters of many key Japanese companies, including Mazda, Fujitsu, Epson, and Honda. And I understand that more Japanese companies are consolidating their US operations here in California. We are very pleased that Japan's external trade organization, which supports these investments, maintains offices both in San Francisco and in Los Angeles. There are 116 nonstop flights between California and Japan every single week. And last year, we were pleased to welcome over 564,000 visitors from Japan. Among them were a fair number of students. In fact, over 5,000 Japanese students are currently studying in our state, including almost 200 at Stanford, over 120 at UC Berkeley, and 100 at San Francisco State. In fact, nearly 1/3 of all Japanese students studying in America are here in California. And we'd like to see this number increase. It's worth noting, I think, that back in the 1970s, one of those students was a young man named Shinzo Abe, who spent 3 semesters at the University of Southern California, not far from here, studying English, international relations, and political science. I think history has shown that he has put his California education to very good use. At the state level, we've had a long relationship with the Japanese, collaborating on cutting-edge technologies. In the last few years, we collaborated with Japan's largest public research institution, NADO, the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, to fund Drive the Arc, a network of electric vehicle charging stations from the beach to Lake Tahoe. This would not have been possible without you. California has also played a leading role in the development of relations between Japan and the United States. The first official Japanese delegation to the United States arrived in San Francisco in 1860. One of the earliest known Japanese settlements in North America, the Wakamatsu Tea and Silk Farm Colony, was located in the Gold Hill region not far from Sacramento in 1869 and is today on the National Register of Historic Places. The first Japanese foreign mission in the world was established in San Francisco in 1870. And the Treaty of Peace between the United States and Japan after the Second World War and the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security were both signed in San Francisco in 1951. Today, I think it is fair to say that overall relations between Japan and the United States remain close and strong. We in California were pleased and supportive of the limited and interim trade agreement between our two countries that will cut tariffs on $7.2 billion worth of America's agricultural exports, and hope this deal will result in even more trade between California and Japan. Here in California, we are very proud of our diversity, which makes us stronger, more innovative, more resilient, and more unified. And since the late 19th century, Japanese Americans have been a crucial part of the fabric that makes California unique. We all know the challenges that Japanese Americans have faced and injustices they've endured, especially during the Second World War. But the pride, fortitude, and drive for success of the Japanese American communities has never wavered. Now numbering almost 500,000, more Japanese Americans call California home than any other state. Southern California has the largest Japanese population in North America, and the city of Torrance hosts the highest density Japanese American population in the 48 contiguous states. Members of the Japanese community have played leadership roles in every field of endeavor and have helped to make our state open, welcoming, and the place that we strive to be. Way back in 1985, I myself was a proud intern in the office of Robert Matsui, congressman from my hometown of Sacramento. His wife Doris serves in the same seat today, and they are but two of a number of Japanese Californians who have served at the very highest levels of government. Finally, let me conclude my remarks by congratulating the U.S.-Japan Council for the great work you are doing through your Tomodachi initiative. As a former U.S. ambassador, I know there is nothing more important to the development of lasting relationships between nations than people-to-people exchanges. I salute you for the inspirational work you are doing to bring young people from both America and Japan together to learn more about each other. You are shaping lives for the better and helping to assure that the strong relationship between our two countries will never be weakened. Japan is a great friend of California, and I am proud and pleased that you have chosen to host this important conference here in our state, which has always been and always will be our country's most steadfast partner to Japan and the Japanese people. This is, indeed, a place where you will find bold leadership and a ready launching pad for the next stage of our remarkable, enduring, and expanding partnership. Thank you.